Hello, I'm Gibson and welcome to my new video. A week ago I released an episode about my main character and what was my approach to picking a main for Shadowlands. This time I'm gonna be talking about alts, and specifically about my main alt, which is one at the very beginning of the expansion. I think it's pretty safe to start the expansion with just 2 toons, even though we've been promised that in Shadowlands it'll be much easier to play multiple characters. We still want to see and enjoy new story, unlock skips, learn new systems, dungeons, blah blah blah. So the first part of this video is going to be about my main alt, and the second part is about what I'm going to do in my first week of the expansion. Well, at least what I plan to do. If you're still not subscribed and enjoy my content, please subscribe, hit the bell button and don't forget to like this video. All these small things show your support and help the channel to grow faster. I have huge plans for Season 1 content and I want to share it with all of you. Let's begin. Everything you hear in this video is my personal opinion, and if you think I'm wrong, you know where the comment section is. To pick my alt similarly to my main, I ask myself the same questions. What content do I want to do and what role do I want to play? And the answer was ranged DPS. Why? Because my main is already in the melee zone. He's a tank with a melee DPS offspec. His 2 backups also have melee DPS offspecs. I think that's more than enough. Besides, ranged DPS actually feels different and I like to have it as an option. Okay, 6 classes on the list. I already knew that some of these classes are not my main alts, so I did the same thing I did the last time and removed them from the list. Bye bye, Priest, Mage and Druid. With Priest and Mage everything was super obvious. I don't know if I'm going to heal this expansion, and picking a class with 2 healing specs out of 3 would be weird. Shadow is also not my favorite spec, although he feels a little bit better now. As for the Mage, I'm sorry Mage lovers, but I've always liked Warlocks more. That's again my personal opinion. Druid is already my main's backup thanks to Guardian and Feral specs that I enjoy a lot. That's why I wanted to pick something else. Let's take a closer look at my top 3 applicants. Hunter. I've never really played Hunter until BFA, and by really I mean doing most of the content. I had it maxed up in Legion just for fun and to see how survival spec looks and feels, and that was it. But in BFA, to my biggest surprise, Hunter became one of my top 3 characters. Initially I played Marksman and it felt really good. I love that Robin Hood feeling when you carefully aim and then do massive damage with aimed shot. I remember that at some point during dailies I said to myself, I'm in the one-shot club now, and it felt awesome. Later on, I switched to Beast Mastery and stayed BM until the end of the expansion, mostly because it was much faster and easier to do dailies, assaults, visions and all that crap. But Marksman was always my off-spec and I played it pretty often. As a class, Hunter has fair amount of utilities, and in Shadowlands he's gotten even more thanks to returning Trank and binding shots. For me personally, both Hunter range specs feel cool and totally align with my playstyle. Hunter's Mark was a bit of a pain in the ass, but not a total disaster. And now we need it only occasionally. That's also a good change. Overall, Hunter is a solid choice. Shaman. Shaman was my main since Wrath up until the Legion when I became Alcoholic. I did everything on that guy, played all 3 specs, and always liked it. He was also my main in BFA. I wasn't healing, but both DPS specs were at the same level. I'm also very excited about the class changes. I always liked Shamans for its complexity, and in BFA to me personally, he felt pretty easy to play, especially Enhancement. But now, oh boy, I think he's back to the state I wanted him to be. Talking about the Enhancement, of course. The only thing I miss is the totems. In BFA, at least Elemental had a talent when we could put 4 totems to buff ourselves and party members, but sadly it's gone now. I remember the days when every totem was in a GCD and we had to incorporate them into our rotation to put down all 4. Then in Kata we had one button to put all 4 totems and we could change our totem sets depending on our needs. Losing totems is my biggest complaint about Shamans. I want my totems back and I want the Kata version. And you know what? If Shaman could tank, I think he would be my main again. Warlock. Warlock was my second class that I created long time ago after my Shaman. I already said that I like Warlock more than Mage. This is mostly because all 3 Warlock specs playstyles are absolutely different. You have the Dots playstyle in Affliction, more mage-like playstyle in Destruction, and I think more hunter-like now in Demonology. The damage is fine for all respects. It looks like Affliction is pulling ahead now, but it's the start of the expansion. There will be hotfixes to class and spec balances during the first month for sure, so I'm not worried about that part. Warlock's utility is great. His demons have tons of different abilities for any type of content. Warlocks can battle rest with soulstones, summon party members, create demonic gateways, and so on. Oh yeah, the candies. How could I forget about the candies? On European server, we called them pickles, by the way. As soon as my Warlock dinged, I went and got the Fell Flame for Destro, which is pretty common and easy to get these days. It looks pretty cool, and you can switch back to the normal Red Flame if you want. Class fantasy, different playstyles, utility, all these things attract me to this class. And I've noticed one strange thing. Ever since I've created a Warlock, I've always had him at max level in every expansion. So there is some history of our relationship. Okay, now the choice. I've decided to go with the Hunter despite the fact that the Shaman is like a baby to me. I'm sure many of you who've been playing for a long time feel the same for their very first class. I've had a lot of fun with Hunter during this short period of time in BFA, and I'm not tired of it at all. In fact, I feel I want to play it more, and I'm very excited about the class changes. I'm going to try Marksman again, knowing that BM is a solid alternative. Survival, well, I can't say that it's the worst spec in the game. I actually like it and I think it's very unique. But I'm on board with the community and think that Blizzard has to put more effort into making it more appealing to players, because right now, compared to other classes, it looks like an abandoned ship. Now shortly about my plan for the first week in Shadowlands. First, obviously, I'm gonna max up my main. Then, as soon as I unlock the storyline skip, I will jump on my Hunter and max him up as well. This is a very important step for me personally, because I want them to progress in parallel. For the professions on these two guys, I chose leatherworking and inscription, but during leveling both of them will have herbalism and skinning together as much crafting materials as possible. Then I plan to go to get my legendaries recipes, and this means dungeons and Torghast. First will be dungeons that will help me with some gear, and then Torghast. Now if I will still have 1-2 days left before the reset, I will work on my professions a little bit more, and on the last day before the reset, I will work on Renown. But if I won't have those extra days, I will jump to Renown first and work on the professions in the second week. I think it's a pretty realistic plan, and I will definitely update you on how it went as soon as I'm done. That's all, folks! This was my last video in the expansion. I can't wait for the release to get my hands on the new content. I wish you wonderful time and zero stress in Shadowlands. Thank you for watching and see you next time.